starts with a slightly mysterious, hushed tone. Have you ever felt that unsettling chill? That prickle on the back of your neck when you're somewhere remote, somewhere you're supposed to be completely alone? It's a feeling I know all too well. Last fall, my friends and I decided to escape the city noise and booked what looked like the perfect rustic cabin, deep in the heart of a dense, ancient forest. It was exactly what we needed. Towering pines, a crackling fireplace, and absolutely no neighbors for miles. The first day was pure bliss. We hiked, we laughed, we shared stories around the fire. The silence of the woods at sunset was profound, almost magical. As night fell, we felt a deep sense of peace, a real disconnect from the chaos of our daily lives. We were completely isolated, wrapped in the quiet embrace of nature. Or so we thought. The first night was when things started to feel off. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a sound I couldn't quite place. It was faint at first, a soft rhythmic crunching, like someone walking on dry leaves and twigs. I remember lying there, my eyes wide open in the dark, trying to convince myself it was just an animal. A deer, maybe? Or a raccoon foraging for food. It's the woods, after all. These sounds are normal. But this sound was different. It had a steady, deliberate pace. Crunch, pause. Crunch, pause. It wasn't the scattered, hurried movement of an animal. It sounded heavy, bipedal. It sounded like footsteps. And they were circling the cabin, over and over again. I tried to ignore it, pulling the blanket up to my chin, my heart hammering against my ribs. I told myself my mind was playing tricks on me, that the unfamiliar quiet of the forest was making me imagine things. But the sound persisted, a slow, relentless patrol around our tiny wooden sanctuary. I strained my ears, hoping my friends, asleep in the other rooms, might stir. But there was only silence from inside and the steady, circling footsteps from outside. The minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Who would be walking out here, in the middle of nowhere, at this time of night? The path was miles from any main road. The unsettling thought crept in. We weren't alone out here. The next morning, I felt groggy and on edge. Over breakfast, I cautiously asked, "Did anyone else hear anything strange last night?" My friends looked at me, a little confused. One of them laughed it off. Probably just a big buck wandering around. "You're not used to the country sounds." I wanted to believe them, I really did. I tried to push the memory of the footsteps away. We spent the day determined to enjoy ourselves, distracting our minds with another long hike. The beauty of the forest and the daylight was almost enough to make me forget my nighttime fear. The sun filtering through the canopy, the scent of pine and damp earth, it was all so peaceful. By the time we returned to the cabin, exhausted and happy, my anxiety had mostly subsided. I convinced myself that tonight would be different. But that night, it happened again. This time the sound was clearer, closer, crunch, crunch. The same deliberate pace, the same unnerving rhythm. It felt more intentional this time, as if whoever was out there knew we were listening. My fear from the previous night came rushing back tenfold. I quietly slipped out of bed and crept to the window, my hands trembling as I parted the curtains just a sliver. The moonlight cast long, eerie shadows through the trees, but I couldn't see anything moving, just the dark, silent woods. Yet the sound continued, seeming to come from just beyond the edge of the porch light. It felt like a game of cat and mouse, a chilling performance for an unseen audience. I wasn't the only one this time. A floorboard creaked in the hallway, and I saw my friend Alex standing there, his face pale in the dim light. He just looked at me and whispered, "You hear it too, right?" A wave of relief and terror washed over me simultaneously. I wasn't going crazy. It was real. We stood there together in the dark, listening to the relentless, circling footsteps. We didn't dare speak any louder. We checked the locks on the doors and windows all secure. But that offered little comfort. Whatever was out there wasn't trying to get in. It was just walking, watching, waiting. The feeling of being watched is one of the most primal fears we have, and we were feeling it with every fiber of our beings. The cabin no longer felt like a cozy retreat. It felt like a trap. The third day was filled with a heavy, unspoken tension. We barely spoke, and when we did, it was in hushed tones. Every creak of the cabin, every rustle of leaves outside made us jump. The beautiful forest now seemed menacing, its shadows hiding unseen threats. We decided we couldn't stay another night. We packed our bags in a frantic hurry, the joyful spirit of our trip completely gone, replaced by a desperate need to escape. We didn't even care about losing the money for the last night's booking. Our only thought was to get in the car and drive away before sunset. As we loaded our gear, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being observed from the tree line. As we drove away, I kept looking back at the cabin in the rearview mirror until it disappeared behind the trees. The silence in the car was deafening. After a few miles, Alex finally broke it. "What do you think that was?" he asked, his voice still shaky. None of us had an answer. We never found out who or what was circling our cabin those nights. There were no footprints in the morning, no signs of anyone having been there. It remains one of the most unsettling and inexplicable experiences of my life. It was a stark reminder that sometimes the greatest mysteries aren't in far-off lands, but in the deep, dark woods just beyond our doorstep, where things walk in the night. It taught me to have a profound respect for the unknown and for that feeling, that primal instinct that tells you when you are not alone. That experience has stayed with me, a chilling story I often hesitate to tell. It makes you wonder what other secrets the wilderness holds. What stories could those ancient trees tell if they could speak? Have you ever had a similar experience, a moment where the silence of nature was broken by something you just couldn't explain? I'd genuinely love to hear about it in the comments below. Sharing these stories helps us all feel a little less alone with our unsettling memories. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you enjoy tales of mystery and the unexplained, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more content. It really helps us grow this community of curious minds. Stay safe out there and always trust your gut. We'll see you in the next video.